Hello, I'm Brian James. You can just refer to me as Professor or Instructor James. I've taught Stat 200 for Penn State World Campus for 5 years now. A couple sections each year, 3 or 4, including summertime. And I really enjoy the course. I think the first thing I want to tell you is the instructional design of this course is super. Penn State's instructional design team, along with the Stat 200 team, has done a great job to maximize the probability of learning and scoring very well. So it's an introductory stats course, and the focus is not on computation. So you'll see in the online notes here, I'll show you in a little while, that they make a distinction that this is not even a mathematics course. It is a statistics course. And the online notes that the Stat 200 team provides does have the background for some computational work for those of you who want to go a little further and know that you may need more statistics in your field. But for the most part, the output is done by Minitab software. And then we need to understand the concepts and the understanding of how to use the output. So a brief overview of the course and the Canvas shell. Like it says here, I'm in my 31st year of teaching. I have a bachelor's degree in math, a bachelor's degree in physics, and a bachelor's degree in education. Excuse me. And then I have a master's degree in statistics education and an additional master's degree in applied statistics. I also have a medical statistics graduate certificate from Stanford. So a pretty good background that I should be able to help you through this elementary stats course here at World Campus. The other thing I think I want to say right away is, in the history of me teaching this course, I went back and looked. I have about 72% of all students I've ever had get an A or a B. So the word statistics comes with this connotation that, oh, it's going to be hard, a lot of numbers, very abstract. I don't think you'll find that at all in this course. If you give it the time that's necessary, and we'll talk about that, you'll probably do quite well. So A or B, 72% in my history. That's a pretty good prelude to walking into the stats course. All right, first thing, let's just go over the Canvas shell a little bit. Most of you are really familiar with this probably. When the course starts, you'll see my announcements up here at the top. I'm really big on announcements. I'm really big on engaging you in the course. Research shows that's important. Not all students like that. Some students really like to kind of hide out in distance ed. And you'll have that sort of option. You don't have to totally interact with me. But I'll do my part to remind you of activities, remind you of submissions, especially for the first half of the course. After that, when everyone's settled in, I'll kind of go away from all the reminders, but I'll still use announcements a lot to give you introductory ideas about what's coming up for the week or what to look forward to, that type of thing. All right. Next thing on that list would be the syllabus, and that is an HTML format syllabus. Again, you're probably used to this type of thing if you're a World Campus student. I'll go back through this near the end of my presentation here just quickly so you can get an overview of that, but you should read it real carefully. The modules, these are where the learning takes place in the course. Again, the design team, it's really, really good what's done here. The first one is general resources. So there's a tutor.com that is available to help you. I will run live sessions once a week on Mondays, and that'll help you for our Tuesday turn-ins. Any of those of you who are waiting to the end or struggling a little bit, we can certainly help you on Monday evenings. This help and support and contact information gives you other sources to help you through the course as needed. Two big things right away. If you engage in the course with me, virtue of live sessions and discussion boards and an occasional email, I think you'll find that you'll do very, very well. Okay, so that's real important. The other thing that I would say is important is just really, really relying on the online notes, which I'm about to show you here, how good they are and how thorough they are. All right, lesson 0 is just an orientation. You do need to walk down through this in order for subsequent modules to be opened, pages to be opened. So start at the beginning and work your way down through here. But this is basically the ideas of what prerequisite skills do you need, what prerequisite materials do you need, that type of thing. So our statistics homepage for the department, your Canvas profile, if you want to update it, you should always have Canvas notifications on. That way when I send an announcement, you'll get that right away sent to your phone. The online notes, again, I'll be back to in a little while. We do use Minitab software, and it is an app version that Minitab provides Penn State students. So it's web-based. Any of those of you who've been around a little while, maybe even tried the course before, there's different versions of Minitab out there, but we are going to use the app version, not Minitab Express and not Minitab the standalone. Purchasing materials for the course for the Wiley Plus access, you'll want to go through that in some detail-oriented fashion to make sure you get the right materials. All right, course expectations. This is just a little quiz you see here that you do get points for, just to make sure you understand exactly what is expected of you in the course. Okay, so you want to look at that. Personal introductions is just a discussion board to create a sense of community so that everyone has a little idea of who's in the course, and you'll be able to introduce yourself, answer a few questions that we prompt you on there. Please do that. I really like to interact with you there and get a sense of who you are to start. Little algebra prerequisite skill. The prerequisite skill of Algebra 1 is really all you need. I mean, you're not going to see anything beyond Algebra 1 in the course. So again, it does come down to the discipline to read and understand the concepts way more than any mathematical background. Collecting data would be our first lesson. So let's just go down through what any typical lesson looks like, because one of the successes of online platforms is the repetition, the idea that everything looks comfortable and repetitive, so there's no surprises weekly, and you'll see the same format each week. You have an introductory page that you can look at. This community of learning is a new term for discussion board, but that's what we have there. So you can certainly reach out to me. I'm very interactive. I think you'll find that out. Hopefully you've read comments about that, that I will reply very, very quickly. I like to give students a first shot at reply, or ask students to help me out to help classmates, but I also don't want to make you wait too long, so you'll get some feedback from me. Video lectures. Dr. Zimmerman, a former member of the department, made video lectures of all her Stat 200 in the back, in the previous semesters. She no longer works in the department, but she did a great job here, and some students really like that sense of a video lecture, others do not. And again, my history would tell me that the online notes are more than enough for most students. But if you are really enjoying the online kind of interaction with a video lecture, you could certainly look at this. The only one thing I would warn you of is they are done. All the content is good. All the theory is good. All that, the examples are great. But the technology used in there is Minitab Express, which is very similar to what we'll be using in the course. But we moved on from Minitab Express about a year ago. The online notes, again, I'll go back to these in a bit and show you, but they are so thorough. They tell you exactly what we need to know for each lesson. They have embedded videos to show you how to use technology. You just can't go wrong there. And then the textbook, you can supplement with the textbook as you see fit. But again, most students tell me that if they just stick with the online notes, they do a great job of explaining what we need in the course. In fact, I go as far as saying, I really don't think there's anything on any lab or assessment in this course that's not in the online notes. That's how well the instruction is tied to the actual assessment. They'll always provide you, the Stat 200 team will always provide you with lab assignments from the previous semesters where you can go back and look at something similar that was done before you actually go and do your own lab. Okay. All right, the assignments each week. You have a Wiley Plus assignment, which is basically online homework. It's usually 8 to 15 questions, and in that 8 to 15 questions, it does have a little bit more computation than the assessments. So this is the part where you're not under any pressure. You have time to spread this out. You can start and stop homework, and there will be a little more computational kind of work done there. So you get a little more theory in the homework. Okay. Homework can be submitted late for 50% reduction. Lesson 1 quiz. So each week we have a quiz that you have 2 attempts on. Need to be done by Tuesday night at midnight. The higher of the 2 attempts counts. Just use these as an adult learner in a logical fashion. What I mean by that is over time I've seen students that'll just open the quiz knowing that they won't do well just to feel out what the questions look like, submit it, get a very low grade, and go right back and try to take a quiz again thinking that they're going to get the same questions. You will not. All right, these questions are derived by the Stat 200 team, and the next time around you will get a different set of questions. In all likelihood they'll be similar, but you want to be careful of that. The idea here is to learn from your first mistakes, right? So if you could take this quiz on Saturdays or Sunday, they take like 20 minutes. I think you get 30. But if you get those finished early, they get graded. You see what you did wrong. You can go back, remediate, and then take the quiz again. That's the idea, is to improve learning. And then the lab each week is in a quiz format. So it's in a quiz shell, but it's not a quiz. This aids especially TAs in grading. We do not have a TA in our course this time, so it's me grading. But we went away from a PDF submission, a little harder to comment and things like that on a PDF submission. So you'll see something that looks like a quiz when you open this lab. It is not a quiz. It explains that. It is something you can come and go from. All right. So you can start, stop, come back a couple days later, that type of thing before you actually hit the submit button. The only one little issue sometimes with the lab is importing images, and we do a lot of that, a lot of output from Minitab. So I'll give you some direction on that as we go. And then, if you scroll down to week 2 here, you see the exact same kind of format. So all that happens for 6 weeks, and then you have this nice feature in our course where you have the first exam. And that first exam you have the whole week to take. You don't have to do any other material. So you're not fitting an exam in while you're doing other material. You actually have this week to take it. We have a new proctoring service in Stat 200 called HonorLock. So Examity is gone. And those of you who've had Examity experience in the past, you're actually going to have to remove the Examity extension, and you have to use Chrome. Okay, so you want to work through this before we get to this week, and I'll continually remind you of this, but you want to start early and take a look at what HonorLock looks like. HonorLock uses artificial intelligence proctoring, so you're recorded and then assessed by artificial intelligence whether there may be some academic integrity issues, and then I investigate from there. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Hopefully, as an adult learner, you value the whole idea of the integrity involved. I can tell you that between 500 and 800 people take Stat 200 just online most semesters, and inevitably probably 2 to 5% of them are caught for academic dishonesty. So using things like Chegg, using things like Course Hero. You don't want to do that. Okay, you'll likely get caught. There's someone monitoring those pages for Stat 200 to make sure that this is not occurring. So please do your own work, and that way we can provide an equal playing field for all students, and everybody can be assessed on equal standards. Okay, and then we go a couple more weeks full of material. We come back to our second midterm exam. Again, you'll get another week to take that, and then a few modules to end the course before the final exam. So the structure is, like I said, very successful in the past. I don't see any reason for concern there. So don't get upset about the idea of taking a stats course. Discussions, which again are our community of learning title now. Grades would be the grade book. HonorLock would be our new proctoring service. And again, some of these things you won't see because there are exclusive to me as an instructor, but tutor.com would be where you could go get additional help if you need such a thing. We will meet on Sunday nights or on Monday nights with Zoom, and you'll see that in the syllabus. So let's go grab the syllabus here, and then I'll be done with my presentation. So it's the usual introduction. Again, I do not have a doctorate, and that's by design. I just am pretty diverse with my background, and I've never really focused in on one topic. Stats is probably my most focused area, especially medical stats. But I enjoy some other things as well. I have 3 adult children, married, live in Central PA myself. I teach at the Pennsylvania College of Technology in Central PA. I own a few bars and restaurants, so a little bit of business background. My family and myself really enjoy sports, so basketball, golf, baseball, those types of things. So kind of a normal person, I hope. If you have anything, please reach out via email. That would be the inbox in Canvas here. And I respond quite quickly to that. We'll do those office hours at 8 o'clock on Monday nights. If no one's in there by like 8:05, 8:10, I just shut her down. So this is a start at 8, and I'll continue on as long as we need to go situation. All right. Very good about correspondence, so please reach out as needed. Course description you can read through. The prerequisite skills is basically just the ability to do some arithmetic with some Algebra 1 skills. And you'll see a little review of that. Instruction or the introduction to tutoring.com if you'd like. Required materials I've talked about along the way. Wiley Plus for the online homework. And the Minitab web app. You do need a calculator. It can just be a scientific. They suggest the TI-30XS. Some of you have taken stats before in high school. If you use a TI-83 or 84, that's fine as well. And then some of the course procedures that you want to read through as far as the assignments and the lab assignments and the quizzes. Again, I'll give you some introduction of these early in the course, but certainly read through that. We are not graded in the discussion boards as a community of learning. There are some stop and think checks in there just to help you stay focused. There's lots of research that says better than just continual repetition of material is to be quizzed for recall, even if it doesn't, quote, count. So research has really shown to acquire and continue with knowledge, this quizzing at times is a very important aspect. Honor Lock proctoring service. So again, this would be new to most of you. Penn State is just adopting this now for World Campus, so I'm going to look through that. Plenty of good reviews about it though, so hopefully it's a good change for students. Extension policy in general, there's not an extension. If you do have a life circumstance or a health condition or some family emergency, certainly reach out to me and I'll work with you, okay? But in general, our weeks run from Wednesday to Tuesday. So stuff is due on, all materials are due Tuesday night at midnight. And waiting till the end is not the best, right? We want to try to spread that out. I'll show you that at the very end today, a suggested schedule. Grading skill is standard. Technical requirements, you're taking an online class. You should have good internet, good computer skills, good computer software, good computer hardware. So hopefully you're okay there. Academic integrity, I take this very seriously, as I mentioned previously. Just please do your own work. Please do not go out and get sources that are not on the up and up. So I'll be watching that to make sure everybody is treated equally. And then we have our any kind of students with disabilities, counseling, psychological services, all these extra support services. If anybody should happen to need those, I'll definitely work with you on those. Okay, at the bottom of the syllabus is a weekly or a semester schedule actually. All right, last thing I'd like to show you then is that great resource that I keep telling you about, the online notes. So when you click here, you get out to a really nice set of online notes, and along the side here are the lessons that you'll be linked to right from Canvas. But if you get into some of this here, let's go to like Introduction to Confidence Intervals. You'll see it's very readable, give you examples, show you some of the work involved in doing that, how to interpret, applying confidence intervals, and you'll see at some point here you'll get some embedded videos of how to actually do this work on like the StatKey simulation software we'll use, that type of thing. So it's very, very good. Again, very hard to find anything in an assessment that's not included in the online notes. So just a really good job by the by the team. Down at the bottom of the online notes is a weekly schedule that would be great to follow. Now, there's going to be the suggestion of 8 to 16 hours. I don't think you'll find that to be anywhere near that. I think most students would tell you if you gave this 4 or 5 solid hours, you'd be great, right? Because in class, somebody would be getting 4 hours, and then the outside of class work that they would do for in residence course. So I think online, if you gave it 4 or so hours a week, you'd be in great shape. But it's great to start at Wednesday. Listen, it's human nature to procrastinate, but if you could start Wednesday and just spread this out so that you don't have to get yourself in a situation on Tuesday night where you're trying to plug it all in there at the end. Like, I'm a human being as well. I know what procrastination is like. Got to fight it if you want to be a little more successful. And listen, I'm going to see that you submit everything at 11:52 p.m. or whatever, and that's not the greatest message. It's allowed. You're going to be treated equally, but it's certainly a situation where you start to say, are they doing their best work if they're submitting at this time of night type of thing. Okay, I think that's it. I want to wish you the best of luck, and if you have anything, please reach out to me.